Now that you have Python installed on your Windows machine, you're going to want an interactive development environment to actually do development on. So I'm going to show you how to install Visual Studio Code. Open your browser and navigate to code.visualstudio.com. Just like the Python website, the Visual Studio Code website is going to determine what operating system you're using and provide you a download button for your operating system right on the front. If for some reason you don't want to go with the one that they're offering, you can click the download button over here on the top right corner. And then underneath the Windows section here, there are some options for user installer, system installer, .zip, and command line interface for 64-bit, 32-bit, and ARM64. Or you can just click this button right here, which is going to download whichever one it thinks is best for you. So go ahead and click that button now. Once the executable is done downloading, navigate to where the file was downloaded and double click on it to run it. First thing you're going to see is a license agreement for Microsoft. Please read through the entire thing, and as long as you agree to everything in it, click the I accept the agreement button, then click next. I'm going to go ahead and leave it as the default location for where to install it. Click next. And I'm also going to leave the default name for the start menu and click next. Here, you're going to want to click Add Open with Code Action to Windows Explorer File Context menu and Add Open with Code Action to Windows Explorer Directory Context menu. This will give you a right-click option that when you right-click on a file, such as a Python file, you can click the Open with Code button and it will automatically open with Visual Studio Code. Click Next. Just double-check that everything looks correct and click Install. The installation is pretty quick, but give it 1 to 2 minutes depending on your hardware. Once installation is complete, make sure that you have Launch Visual Studio Code here checked and click Finish. The first time you open Visual Studio Code, you should be presented with a Welcome tab here. The only thing that we really need to do on this screen is pick a theme for our Visual Studio Code. I personally prefer the dark high contrast. I like the black background with brightly colored lettering, but you pick whatever works best for you. The other thing that we need to do is install the Python extension. To do this, we can go over here on the left side and click the extensions icon. And then in the top search bar here, type in Python. You'll see one here that says Python by Microsoft with the verified blue check mark. Click the install button. And it's going to download and install the Python extension for Visual Studio Code. Give it a couple minutes. Once the Python extension is finished being installed, you'll be presented with a new welcome screen for it. The only thing that we need to do here is select a Python interpreter for our development. There's an option right here for select a Python interpreter. If you click on that, it'll give you this button here. Click that, select Python interpreter, and then up here it will give you a list of all the Python executables on your system, and it'll give you a recommended one. Just go ahead and select whichever one you would like. If for some reason this welcome screen did not open up or you closed it out before you selected a Python interpreter, over here in the bottom left corner is a manage icon. Click that and then click command palette. Start typing Python select interpreter and you'll see the option for Python select interpreter. You can click on that and then select your version of Python that you would like to use. That's it. Visual Studio Code is set up and ready to go for Python development. So let's go ahead and create our first Python program. Over here in the top left corner, click on the Explorer tab. You could do File, New File, and create a single Python file, but I prefer to do an open folder. That way there I can create new Python files or switch between files very easily. It also allows me to trust any Python file that is in that folder so that I don't have any issues running them. So click Open Folder and navigate to a place where you would like to put your Python files. I'm going to go to Documents and create a new folder called Python Projects. I'm going to select it and then click Select Folder. The first time that you open up a folder, it's going to ask you if you want to trust the authors of the file. Click the Trust Authors of all the files in the parent folder, and then this is going to be whatever folder you chose, and then click Yes, I trust the authors. If you don't trust the authors, you can open the code, read it, write new code, but you cannot run the files. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in a little bit, make it easier to see. Up here in the Explorer, you'll see this icon here that says New File. Click that. And you can name it whatever you want as long as it has the .py extension. And you can see right here, We have the Python logo because Visual Studio Code knows that anything with the .py extension is a Python file. And for our first program, it's going to be a very simple program that prints hello world to the terminal. So type in print, parentheses, and then in quotes, type hello world. And then over here in the top right corner is a play button that runs the Python file. Click that. A new terminal will open, and this file will be sent to our Python executable where it will be run. And we have an output of hello world. And that's it. You now have Python installed, you have an interactive development environment installed, and you have created your first Python program.